Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. The mindset shifts. Let's start.
Okay. Our first question is, how can someone shift from a fixed mindset into a growth mindset?
I want to hear from Mr. Gordon first, and then I'll add.
Thank you for deferring to me. Um, yeah, this is a wide open topic, and again, of course, Adi has expertise going back thousands of years, and so I look at things that way as well, very detailed, very historically, and then I look at it a more almost modern version, less technical, so people can get it. Um, Yeah, so to me, I look at the shift in mindset is not just changing habits, right? People always look, let's start there. People always look at, oh, change your habits. And then what they do is they use smoking as an example. So they don't smoke a cigarette, so now they have to eat a lollipop every 3 seconds. So that's not really bad, but it's just you're replacing something for something else. So why do I want a lollipop habit? Why do I want to replace a crutch with another crutch? Is how I look at it. So you just have to look at it as truly resetting the mind and do away with the bad habit, do away with it. Use smoking again as an example. Just do away with smoking and not replace it with another vice. So that's how I look at it. The shift to a growth mindset, and also you have to tune out what society puts out there. Society does not want you mindset to grow. Unfortunately, they want to bombard you with what to think, how to act. And again, going back to my cigarette example, since I jumped on that, there's cigarettes is $1 billion industry. Now vapes is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So do you think, let's be logical, right? Do you think they have the mindset of having teens to change their mindset about vaping? And of course, the answer is absolutely not. So unfortunately, the teens are bombarded with all of this input, peer pressure, advertising. It's cool cases, shiny cases to continue to smoke. So changing the mindset, you have to do it internally. You have to reset your mind and reprogram what's been put in there by outside sources.
So my take on this is, we all know how this thing works. There are 6 different techniques for changing the mindset. 6 different techniques. Now, you know, people people don't invest. People invest in gyms. People invest in. I'm talking about only corporate people. People invest in professionals. They invest in holidays, vacation, and they go for vacations and they come back and then go back to the old life. So the vacation did not actually help them. And there are 6 techniques over there. One is a breathing technique, very specialized breathing technique. Second is focus techniques are there. Third is the techniques on forgetting the past. Their four techniques are that resetting the anxiety mindfulness syndrome. And the fifth is that you actually help people connect with their positive past experiences. People call it regression, but we use rover techniques, which is not regression. And the last one is, and the most important is planning for the future. So there are 6 different techniques for making mindset more uh, uh, relevant to the times in which people are functioning. Now, these people generally say, I give one example. People talk about, see, nobody likes to shift their mindset because they're scared what is going to be shift look like. Maybe the second gear doesn't work. But the worst thing people can do is, or any instructor can do is, tell someone, be positive. The moment you say be positive, that means you're already assuming many things, and it just reinforces the old mindset of defensiveness. And that's why these are 6 techniques you can use for mindset shifting or reset.
Another question is, what is the biggest obstacle to maintaining a positive mindset?
You know, see, the biggest obstacle is the in maintaining a positive mindset is your current mindset itself. Because if you are always in the past, then you cannot work in the present. If you're always in a mode of procrastination, so in short, I can say the biggest obstacle is one's own reticence to change, and that's a major problem. And the most common examples we use is that what process worked in the past, if you keep reusing it, it's not going to work, nor is going to give the same result. Exactly same works with the mindset. In a simple muscles training, which Mr. Gordon can say, that when you start exercising, you keep changing the exercises because the muscle memory is very strong. Mr. Gordon? Yeah.
No, absolutely. And what Ali said earlier about the steps is planning for the future. And so we're working with a lot of companies and we're seeing and we're trying to guide them through the process. As of now, jobs are uncertain, jobs are going away, the economy is uncertain. And so you cannot change that. So you have to change your mindset and plan for the future. What careers are going to be popular? What can you do with your current skills? How can you change your business in a positive direction to be ahead of the curve? Right? The curve's already happened. So if you're starting now, you're a little late, but we can definitely help you catch up because without any plan, you're going to fall further behind. So that's the mindset as well. Is you have to have a plan saying things are changing, things are gonna change. And like I said again, what you did last year in the corporate world, what you did last year, it's already old news. So you have to have a plan for the future, and that's where anxiety comes in. People don't like to think of that because there are unknowns. But when you have a healthy mindset, you know there are unknowns, so you plan what you can. And then you don't worry about the intangible unknowns because when that happens, you'll reevaluate, you'll rethink, and focus them into your plan.
Okay. And my next question is, how does gratitude actually change the way that we think?
Actually, gratitude is a very spiritual topic, and gratitude obviously helps. Uh, but gratitude, when you're solving a mindset related issue, can bring you more anxiety and more. It's like it's going to give you more, create more problems. Gratitude is used for something which somebody has done without you being asking for. You're deeply thankful. That's what his gratitude stands for. But when somebody is working on their mind, they have to assume that there are enemies and friends. And when you assume that way, enemies and friends, then you start dissecting your friends and dissecting your enemies, dissecting your options. And that's how you get relief from. So gratitude is helps in a general way, but when you're talking about the mindset change, it doesn't help because you are accepting your current state at that time. So when I'm saying I'm grateful to you or someone to grateful to someone, I'm accepting my current state. So especially for what we do, it's a we don't advise people to have gratitude because we gratitude is done to someone who you trust, and most of the people that we cases we get are not for building trust, are building for actually destroying that trust. So what we do is we rebuild the personality in a different way. So we rebuild the personality by activating their intelligence more than the mind, and then dissecting the mind for what causes that distress or that situation. Mr.
No, I
Gordon?
appreciate that insight, and I look at it again as one of the things that we look at as we're trying to give people the right tools. Because Addie and I talk about this a lot with words. So I know for a fact the word gratitude, most people you ask do not have the official definition. So they have like
Gratis.
a modern version of
Yeah.
how they look at it, like to be
Gratis.
kind and to be polite, which is fine. So we use that as well, but we don't put it under the umbrella of gratitude. Which is more of a subservient kind of thing. So like I said, that's a whole deeper discussion. And so it's not that we're against the gratitude, but the true definition is different. But yes, to be kind, to be appreciative, to acknowledge the people who work for you, to acknowledge people who have done good works in your business as partners. Absolutely. So just to clarify that, it's kind of the word has kind of lost the true meaning.
See, the Sanskrit word is kritagya. Kritagya means you are deeply indebted to someone who has done good to you. Gratis is like a tip. So you offer a gratitude and you're done with it. You're grateful only in the dinner conversations or you after the fact. What LTS, what we are doing is, because you're using those techniques, we train people to become a, so that they don't have to be in that situation. Period. Kritagita, like in Sanskrit, is a very deep quality, very good quality. Comes from a deep experience, and that is permanent. Uh, but if you just do the wordplay, then the gratitude is good, can be bad also, can be misused also, can be exploited also, and oftentimes in many spiritual, I have seen religious people using this word extensively, and nothing against them, they're wonderful people, but it's just that it doesn't change the person's problem or situation.
Okay. Why do you think some people thrive under pressure while others just crumble?
You know, the pressure is like, pressure is there on everyone, and usually the pressure is financial, generally related to financial and related to time management, which is a pressure. Like some people who manage time better, and some people manage their finances better. I think once you have these skills there, I think there is no pressure. If somebody's pockets are full, stomach is full, and they have plenty of options to relax, they don't feel pressure. The moment you remove the money from the pocket, then the pressure starts building in.
Mhm.
Yeah, no doubt, and I agree with that concept. Especially as you know, in the world of deadlines and corporations and high level, there's always that what people always say pressure. I don't look at it as pressure. I look at it as the date, the assignment, and then you put forth a plan to reach it. And if you're prepared, then there's less stress.
Like a challenge.
Yeah, again, it comes back to wordplay. People use pressure all the time, especially in the security world. People say, "Oh, what's a pressure-filled situation if all the doors get unlocked?" And I'm like, it's not really pressure. I have steps that I would follow. I reboot the system. I post physical guards. So why was there's no pressure in my mind? It's a plan of action. So I think that has a lot to do. Again, like we were saying, you plan. You have a plan. It reduces pressure. Like you said, timing. If some people get up late in the morning, right? They're already behind because they already got up late, and then they're racing around and they feel pressure and stress to get where they're going. You get up earlier, you pre-plan, you have your food prepared. Like so, there's certain things you can do. So to me, the word pressure is used a lot, and I think it's misused because pressure in itself is good. You lift weights, you do pressure resistance. That's how you get stronger. So we're not. And like they look at the most things that are pressure or changes. If someone buys a new house, gets a new promotion, that's pressure, but that's a good pressure. So yeah, it's how people perceive the word. But society tells you, oh, you feel pressure at work, you feel pressure here, you feel pressure this, you do my program, do this. So that's part of why pressure is a good word for people to sell stuff that doesn't work.
Okay. Would you say, can you train your mind to stop overthinking?
Yes, you can, and you can easily train your mind. Again, this process is very simple. That you focus on things to which help you deliver small results. That's how
Okay.
you stop it overthinking.
I agree, and it's that simple, and then that's why we created this program, Learn, Think, Share, because this stuff is not taught in schools. It's not taught in the workplace. It's not taught at job seminars. Lots of reasons why. Because it's a quick solution. Same reason why a lot of healthy eating habits are not taught because there's a bigger picture, and so that's a topic of another time. But yeah, it's just very simple. Keep your mind positive, focus on positive solutions, and again, it's like pressure. Don't look at things as pressure. Look at it as, okay, this is what I'm faced with. What are my solutions? I usually like people go outside, they have a flat tire, they get all flustered, right? Simple. You got an appointment, call them, tell them you'll be late, call AAA, get the tire changed, you're on your way. Avoid the stress, all the pressure.
Okay. And the last question that I have is, what is one mindset shift that can instantly improve daily life?
Procrastination, removing procrastination, and in Sanskrit it's called Dirgha Sutrata. Is like you procrastination is a habit. So people generally, when they are scared of an outcome or scared of their fear of something, that's why procrastination happens, and happens to everybody. So the only way to avoid procrastination is to plan ahead. Like, for example, taxes. Plan ahead. This is a very crude example I gave. People are nobody is scared of taxes because they can always avoid taxes. They can delay taxes. They can take permission. They can have a later filing date. But now, that's one example I take. Second is CEOs and executives delaying decisions. And I know the choices are bad. Sometimes all choices are bad. So you have to choose the choice which is the least bad. So that's what you need to make a decision on, and especially for senior management people. So we use many techniques for people to remove this problem, and we do that in a much more deeper way. Like it's just like if certain like root canal is done, and I know there are a lot of reports against root canal nowadays, but when some nerve gets suppressed, root canal has to be done. So a program that we have developed is a learn think share. We go into the mindset of procrastination, and I apply on myself too, and that's why I don't procrastinate anything.
No, well said. And it goes back to everything we've stated on getting us to this last question. And a typical example is that, as people know me now, I'm a knife expert, very comfortable with the knife. But the way it started is that I was very uncomfortable. I saw growing up in Brooklyn, many people get hurt severely by knives, right? The knife does a lot of wounds. It cuts you, slices you. I had a friend that had 52 stitches because he was attacked with a knife. So of course you back away from that. But what I did is I approached it. I said, okay, how do I take it down into smaller pieces? How does the knife work? What are the dangers? How can I be safer? How can I avoid it? And then mindset and a lot of other things. So once you start doing that, it opens up a whole new world. And then you don't procrastinate. You don't have fear because you understand it. So I think a lot of times people fear stuff they don't understand, rightfully so, because they're uncomfortable. They don't know what to do. And then the other thing I look at too is words. Like we talked about here, a little bit different wording. And I think the words are powerful. The words we use, the words we say to ourselves, the words we listen to. I think that puts a lot of power in how we think and how our mindset works. And the more we understand language, you look at Adi, who's a world expert in language. And so that definitely gives him an advantage because he understands things better, he sees things better. And so the more we, in our individual lives, you don't have to be a world expert in language, but the more we watch our words, how they say, or I'm no good, or I'm not good enough, these are things that are common statements. And once you start watching your words, it's amazing how you could filter out so much negative talk to yourself and the people in your lives. It's like kind of like the concept of, pick up your clothes, stupid, right? Everybody thinks, oh, that's so absurd. But people do that because if you grew up that way, it's not really insulting. It's not really degrading. It's kind of just throwing the word around, right? It doesn't have much meaning, but it does. It has a vibration. So they prove that all along with vibrations in water and plants. And so, to daily improve is to daily watch your mindset and the words that come out of your mouth because they have energy.
The simple English word called George comes from G, which is earth. So George means a farmer. So anyone which is not intelligent was known as George. Okay, that's a typical English usage of the word.
Uh-huh.
So if somebody tells me, okay, George, come here, it's like telling Jose, come here.
Yes.
Very common words. Okay, so in India also there are parallel words like that. So what I'm trying to say is yes, you rightly said words have power, and once you know the origin of the words, and obviously names are put on people, and people don't know who put them, done by the parents, but these words, all these words have carry a deep meaning,
Mm-hmm.
and once you start focusing on them, you see changes in your own way of thinking because many of these words have been like footpath and sidewalk. Classical thing is like a footpath is everybody knows they're going to walk on the foot. Why there is footpath? Yeah. And sidewalk, everybody knows that it's on the side of the road. That's a sidewalk. So I'm just giving an example in a lighter way. Thank you.
Great point.
Yeah.
All right. Join us for this show every week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.